Hey, this video is for Greek class, and it goes along with Croy chapter 15, so you might want to grab your textbook and follow along with me. Chapter 15 covers a lot of ground, but it's really recognizable, and so it covers both the fourth and fifth principal parts, but they're both related to the perfect tense, and from the perfect tense you can get to the pluperfect. I'll explain why that's not a big deal for us here in just a moment. Okay. Here's the way to recognize the perfect active or the perfect middle passive forms. These are built off of the fourth and fifth principal parts. And pluperfects are also based off of this, but they're very rare in the New Testament. Only like 6 words have a pluperfect in the New Testament, so we're not going to spend a ton of time on them in this class. Perfects undergo reduplication, and that's why they're so easy to recognize. I'll explain what that looks like in a minute, and once you see it, you won't be able to not notice it. Many perfects also have a ka infix, similar to the way that the aorist had a sa infix. Now, the kappa and the alpha is what's going to help mark these perfects. So here's how you could see it. This is a verb you know, pisteuo. I believe it's in the present tense, but if you double that p sound at the beginning, and if you add a ka, it looks like this. Pe pisteu ka. That pe pisteu ka is what makes it a pluperfect. A perfect, sorry. That is I have believed. And then pisteu ace is you believe, but if I want to make it perfect to you have believed, pe pisteu kas. There it is. You've got the doubling of the p sound and then the ka. This is how we form it. We start with the perfect active tense stem, which is our fourth principal part, and the reason it's separate is because there'll be some irregular ones we'll talk about in a minute. The first letter gets reduplicated, and then you add a kappa alpha infix to the middle, and then add the primary active endings, which is what you learned as your present tense endings. So this is it. The verb is luo, I destroy, but if I want to say I have destroyed, it's something I've done in the past, and now the city remains destroyed because I destroyed it. I take that luo, and so from the stem lu, I double that ol sound, the lambda, to le lu, and then I add ka, and le lu ka becomes it. I keep doing this same procedure for every one. If I double the lu, so le lu kas, that becomes the second person singular. You have destroyed. Le lu ken, he, she, or it has destroyed. Le lu kamen, we have destroyed. Le lu kate, y'all have destroyed. Same thing, luo is the stem. I'm doubling it at the beginning, that L sound, the lambda, adding the ka, and then adding that sin, that is the typical ending, lelukasin, and sometimes you'll see this one shortened to lelukan. You get both, and there's no clear indicator of why people sometimes do this in a slightly different way. This is what they look like. Leluka, lelukas, leluken, lelukamen, lelukate, lelukasin, lelukan. I have loosened, you have loosened, he, she, or it has loosened, we have loosened, y'all have loosened, they have loosened. So the way to translate these for now is to just add the word have. I have destroyed, you have destroyed, he, she, it has destroyed. Okay, this is it for the verb pisteuo, because I prefer to use that verb for us to learn things on, believe. And so this is I have believed, you have believed. So pisteu, but because it starts with a p sound from a p, then you double that, so pe pisteu ka, add the ka infix, pe pisteu kas, pe pisteu ken, pe pisteu kamen, pe pisteu kate, pe pisteu kasin, or pe pisteu kan. And these are what they mean. I have believed, pe pisteu ka, you have believed, pe pisteu kas, he, she, it has believed, pe pisteu ken, and we have believed, pe pisteu kamen, y'all have believed, pe pisteu kate, they have believed, pe pisteu kasin, pe pisteu kan. Okay, this is what it would look side by side with the aorist. The aorist is also in the past tense, and so the aorist has an epsilon at the beginning, and then the infix is sa, so now this has the reduplication at the beginning, and the infix is ka. So you can see how they're very, very similar, actually. And so you should be able to recognize them after you get going. Just you're looking for the doubling and you're looking for the ka. Okay, forming the middle passive, it's going to basically be formed the same way, except you take the fifth principal part. You reduplicate the first letter, and you don't have any connecting vowels in this, so it's going to be tighter together than what we've seen before. and you add again the primary middle passive endings that we learned along with the present tense. This is for luo. So if I take my stem lu and I double the beginning part of it, le, and I add my ending, my, instead of oh my, I just add my, le lu my. That means this one doesn't change in the way that you've been used to it changing, because the le lu sai, the sigma is actually going to hold here, but that's the second person. You have been destroyed. Le lu tai, le lu metha, le lu ste, le lun tai. And so you can see the doubling of the first letter, and then the adding on, the smushing on of the endings that you already know, just without a connecting vowel. These are them. Le lu mai, le lu sai, le lu tai, le lu metha, le lu ste, le lun tai. And you want to say, I have been destroyed, because it's happening now to the subject. You have been destroyed. He, she, it has been loosened or destroyed. This is what it looks like with the verb pisteuo, because I prefer that one. So I have been believed, I have been trusted is even a good translation of this. You take the stem, pisteu, add to it a doubling of the first letter, pe pisteu, and then add straight on that ending, so no connecting vowels, so pe pistu mai. And add the second person one, pe pistu sai. Third one, pe pistu tai. Fourth one, pe pistu metha. Pe pisteu este. See, I even intended to say the but pe pistu ste and pe pisteu tai. So that's them. There's no connecting vowel, but it's exactly the endings that you learned for the present middle passive. So this is very recognizable because of the doubling and because they're endings that you already know. Pepistu mai means something like I have been loosened. Pepistu sai, you have been loosened. Pepistu tai, he, she, it has been loosened. Pepistu metha, we have been loosened. Pepisteu este is y'all have been loosened, and pepistu tai, they have been loosened. Here's what it looks like side by side with the present middle passive. And so you can see that you have the same endings. The reason the second person singular looks a little bit differently is because without the connecting vowel, things aren't combining as much. And so the sai is just holding up its own. But other than that, it just still has the same endings that you recognize, but now with the doubling at the front. So the pep is what's indicating that you're in the perfect middle passive. Perfect middle passive can affect the consonants because the endings are attached without a connecting vowel. It sometimes alters the preceding consonant. For now, I'm just going to say be aware of this. We could talk about it in class if you want to, but here's a verb. It means I leave, lepo, and then when you have the doubling, leip, and then it adds to it a mai. That mai is really powerful, and it's going to actually change the p sound to another m. So it would end up being lame mai. These will always be correct. You're not producing them, you're just recognizing them. And so we'll talk about the few that this happens to in class. For the most part, it's not going to happen to you too often. And so this one, psi, you can see how it changed to a psi. Here it's going to hold because the tau isn't going to change a p and a t side by side. So it's not that it's going to happen very, very frequently. But I did want you to be aware of it and keeping your eye out for it in case it occurs to you. Some things might look like they've changed a lot, and yet they haven't. They're still within their legitimate, typical rules. The infinitive looks like this. It's got the reduplication, and then the perfect active stem, and then the kappa that you'd recognize, and then nai is ascending. So this is for luo, le, lu, ken, nai, to have loosened. Pe, pisteu, kenai, to have believed. In the middle passive, the reduplication plus the perfect middle passive stem, and then the thigh looks like this. Le, loose thigh, to have been loosened. Pe, pistus thigh, to have been believed. And the reduplication occurs even in the infinitive. So it's mainly the reduplication that helps you recognize that you have a perfect infinitive. The various forms of the perfect tense in reduplication, the regular verbs beginning with a consonant end up with something like this. Luo becomes lelukai, pisteuo becomes pe, pistuka. When you have verbs that begin with a vowel, or a diphthong is multiple vowels together, then oftentimes that vowel gets lengthened and it's not a true doubling. Here's an example of it. Agapao, which you'll learn next semester, means I love, so it's similar to agape. When it comes in contact with a perfect, it's not a true doubling because you'd have too many vowels in a row. It's that the A becomes an eta. So the alpha becomes an eta and you have agapeka. Here's one you're going to get, I think, sooner than later. Etoimazo becomes he toi maka. In this case, in both of these cases, the ka is what's going to help you recognize that you're in the perfect, not so much the doubling, because the doubling is just making the vowel at the beginning longer. Verbs that have aspiration, so that means they have an S sound with their letter, reduplicate with unaspirated consonants. So here's some examples of that. Phileo, which also means I love. The f is a PH, and so just the P sound doubles. So pe, deleka. The ka, though, is going to help you out. Therapeuo, I heal, becomes te, therapeuka. Chorizo becomes ke, chorica. And it's, again, the ka that's really going to help you recognize it. Another thing that happens, and these are all technically regular things, I'm just trying to make you aware of them, is that verbs that have a double consonant, so psi, or zeta, or xi, they all reduplicate with something that is easier to say as well. And so, like, zeteo becomes zeteka. The ka is what's going to immediately tell me I'm in the perfect. Stalrao, estalbromai. It's again, it's going to not fully reduplicate. Playrao has a full duplication here, so, I mean, some of them do, but oftentimes it won't. And so some perfect tenses, verbs are irregular in both the active and the middle passive forms, and so these are the ones you're just going to have to learn. And for now, you just want to learn your vocab in Chapter 15. Those are the irregular ones that you want to pay attention to. And if you want to go the extra mile, the irregular perfect stem changes that are listed in paragraph 105 are really the ones that you want to know. Okay, I'm going to pause this for now, and then I'll make a separate video about how to maybe translate these things and go over it again one more time. But this gives you the basis of actually a whole bunch of Greek verbs. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me, or you can bring those questions to class. I look forward to going over this more with you in the near future. Okay, thanks.